The mouse who roared. In a deep green jungle where elephants stomped and tigers roared, lived a tiny mouse named Mintu. Mintu was the smallest animal in the forest. He had soft grey fur, shiny black eyes, and the quietest little paws. Because he was small and many animals ignored him, what a mouse can really do. Be careful, you might step on him, giggled the parrot. He's just a nibbling body, nothing else. But Mintu didn't mind. He was quiet, polite, and helpful. He helped ant finding their ways, cleaned up berry seeds, and even sang soft songs to the baby rabbits at bedtime. Still, deep inside, Mintu wished for just one chance to show that even a small mouse can do brave. I may be small, he said to himself, but my heart is big. One evening, dark clouds rolled over the jungle. The wind howled and the trees shook. Suddenly, the roar of the king echoed through the forest. Leo, the lion, was in trouble. Help, help! His voice boomed. The animal froze. The lion is trapped, cried the owl. A group of hunters had come and set a large net trap near the river. Leo, while drinking water, got caught. The rope tied tightly around him, and he moved. The tiger got it real. The animals gathered near, but no one dared to go close. We can't find hunters. The net is too strong. What can we do now? Mintu peeked from behind a bush. He saw a mighty lion in the ground and rolling in pain. In that moment, he whispered, I must try. The other animals gasped. You, a mouse? You will get squished. It's dangerous, but Mintu looked at them with a calm eyes. If no one else will go, then I must. I may be small, but I'm not afraid. Without waiting, he trotted forward. Zip zap zoom. He squeezed between the branches, slipped under the leaves, and reached the lion. The Leo blinked in surprise. A mouse? I am here to help, Mintu said bravely. He crawled to the net and opened his tiny teeth and began to grab. Nibble by nibble, thread by thread, the rope began to loosen up. Leo growled softly. Be careful. I will, Mintu said. Hold still. And then the time passed. The jungle watched in silence. And then a snap. The lion thread broke. The lion stood up free. The jungle cheered. Mintu did it. The mouse saved the lion. And the mouse became the hero. Leo looked at Mintu with a great respect. You are the bravest animal I have ever met, he said. You have shown us courage. Isn't about size, isn't about herd. Mintu blushed. Thank you, sir. From that day on, everything changed. Animal no longer stepped over Mintu. They stepped beside him and they invited to games, feasts, and morning forests. And everyone, whenever comes small or scared, they would whisper to themselves, if Mintu could do it, so can I. Is the road that makes the hero, is the courage that acts when others won't. The reality is next to it. The tiny paws pointed, marked forever. The moral of the story is, kids, no one is too small to be brave. Tiny courage comes from within, and even the smallest, tiniest heart can roar the loudest. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
The parrot who spoke the truth of the forest in the middle of vast green sea filled with tall trees, colorful flowers, and chirping birds, lived many animals. Some were big like elephants and tigers, some were small like rabbits and squirrels, and up in the trees lived a parrot named Mitra. Mitra was not an ordinary parrot. His feathers shone like emerald leaves, and his voice was sweet and clear. But what made Mitra truly special was this. He always spoke the truth, whether it was good news or bad news. Mitra never told lies. All the animals in the forest respected him for this. Whenever there was a problem, they would say, let's ask Mitra. He will help and tell the truth. But everyone liked the truth. Not. One day, a loud roar shook the forest. It came from the jungle king, Lion Rudra, who ruled the jungle from his own stone cave. Call every animal to the riverbank tomorrow morning, Rudra shouted. I have an announcement to make. Next morning, all the animals gathered by a big blue river. The sky was bright, but the air was full and tense. Lion King Rudra stood tall on the rock and said, From today onwards, I shall build a new palace in the middle of the forest. To do this, I will cut down 50 trees. A murmur spread across the animals. The birds looked sad, the monkeys looked worried, and even the deer bowed their heads. Suddenly, then Mitra, the parrot, flew and spoke clearly. But King Rudra, those trees are home to many ears and animals. If you cut them, where will the birds and the nest will go? Where will the bees go? Where will the shade come from? Rudra growled. Are you questioning your king? I am not only speaking the truth, said Mitra calmly. The lion roared. Then you had to blame yourself. Don't take it to me. The Mitra was shocked. The forest was silent. The next day, workers began to cut the trees. The parrots flew away. The squirrels lost their home, and the monkeys cried for their favorite branches that fell. But Mitra did not give up. He fell from the tree to tree and talking to every animal. We must protect our forest, he said. It's not just a place to live, it's a life itself. Soon the animals began to whisper. Maybe Mitra is right, but Rudra is strong. We are scared. One evening, Mitra went to visit Sadhu Baba, the wise old man who loved and lived at the edge of the jungle. Baba, said Mitra, the king lion destroyed our home. I want to stop him, but I am the only small bird. Sadhu Baba smiled gently. Even a small match can light a fire, he said. Speak the truth louder, the forest will hear you. The next morning, Mitra flew to the sky. He called out across the jungle with a sharp, sweet voice. Listen, my friends, the truth must not be silent. We are losing our trees, our homes, and in future, we may lose many more things. Jungle came alive. The frogs crowed louder, the owls shooted, and the monkeys were banging on the branches. The elephants trumpeted, and the forest echoed with one message. Save the trees, save our forest. And just then, Lion Rudra could not sleep. The jungle was too noisy. The next day, he called out another meeting. I heard your cries, he said. Why are you making this noise? This is a time a young rabbit stood up. We were scared, Your Majesty, but we are also sad. We miss the shade, we miss the birds, and Mitra is right. Then old tortoise added, I have lived under these trees for 80 years. Not only just trees, they are my families. And then all the animals stood together. They turned to Mitra and flew from one place to another. Your Majesty, said Mitra kindly, you are the king of the jungle, but even king must listen to the truth. King Rudra was quiet. For the first time, he looked at the animals, not as a subject, but as his friend. He took a deep breath. I was poor and blind. I am sorry, he returned to the crowd. I cancelled the tree cutting. We will protect our forest. The forest cheered. Birds flew high, monkeys danced, and the river sparkled. Mitra, the little parrot, smiled. From that day on, Mitra became the voice of the forest. Even Lion Rudra would ask Mitra, what do you think? So, dear children, the jungle teaches us an important lesson. The truth may be small, but it is powerful. Never be afraid of speaking the truth. Jungle music fades out, and birds are happy.
The Parrot's Jungle School, in the heart of happy green jungle, where tall trees touched the clouds and flower bloomed in every color, there lived a cheerful parrot named Pico. Pico wasn't just any parrot. She had a bright green blood and a colorful beak, the biggest smile in the forest. But what made him truly special was his love for learning and teaching. Pico had read every score of eyes of everyone. He had knew the names of every tree, the stars in the sky, and even how to count mangoes. One day, Pico sat on his favorite mango branch and looked around the jungle. The rabbits were playing, and the monkey was swinging, and the little birds were chirping. But no one knew how to sing signs or count seeds or understand the clouds like he did. That's it, Pico said. I will open a jungle school. We can learn together. The next morning, Pico flew from tree to tree, shouting happily, Jungle schools open tomorrow. All the animals are welcome. Everyone was curious. A school? In jungle, where there will be snacks, can I sit at the back? Pico chirped with joy. Yes, yes, and yes. He cleaned up a big patch of land under a shady banyan tree. He gathered big leaves as books, sticks as pencils, and flat stones for desks. He even made a bell for the coconut shell that ringing in the morning. On the first day of the jungle school, many animals came. The Benny Bear, Leela, the clever rabbit, Tutu the shiny turtle, Mimi the chirpy parrot, and Zuzu, always giggling monkey. Pico chirped his wings. Welcome everyone. Today we will learn about counting, kindness, and clouds. Let's begin with counting mangoes, he said. He pointed to a tree. How many mangoes you can see? 3, said Lala. 5, shouted Bunny. I see all of them, giggled Zuzu. Pico laughed. And let's count together, they counted aloud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 mangoes, said Tutu with a proud smile. Perfect, Pico chirped. Now let's talk about kindness. What does it mean? It means sharing your nuts, said the squirrel, and helping someone who is sad, added Leela. Pico nodded. Kindness makes our jungle happy. Let's play a game. Each one of you would do one kindness thing before the day ends. The animal spend the day learning numbers, pointing shapes in the clouds, and helping each other. Benny gave berries to the ants. Mimi sang a song to cheer up the sleepy hedgehog. Zuzu even helped the Tutu cross the stream without any teasing him. The jungle ran with laughter and joy. Days passed and Pico's jungle school became the most loved place in the forest. One day, it rained heavily. The rain overflowed and many animals stayed inside. Pico looked at his classroom, empty and wet, but just then Zuzu arrived with a leaf of umbrella. Pico, we want school even if it rains. Soon, all the students came up with jumping puddles. Pico smiled proudly, and they said, let's learn about raindrops. As the season changed, the school grew up. Pico never stopped teaching. He believed learning never ends. You have done something very beautiful, he said. And the moral of the story is, kids, learning is for everyone. With kindness, curiosity, and a little help from friends, we can grow all together. So, kids, that's it in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. The Parrot and the Magical Tree. In the heart of mysterious forest, where moonlight danced on leaves and stars twinkled above the like fairy dust, there lived a bright green parrot named Pico. Pico wasn't just any parrot. She had a curious mind, a heart full of kindness, and a deep love for storytelling. He would often fly around the forest, collecting stories for animals, birds, even falling leaves. But there was one story that he had never believed until it happened to him. The elders of the forest often whispered about magical tree. They said it stood deep within the forest, hidden behind a silver mist, and it could grant one true wish to anyone who found it with a pure heart. Most of the animals thought it was just a tale, but Pico was wondered. One day, he told his best friend Tuffy, the tortoise, I want to find the magical tree. Tuffy chuckled. You're always chasing dreams, Pico. Pico smiled. Some dreams are worth chasing. Then came up the day everything changed. The forest was quiet, too quiet. The river had stopped flowing, the wind had stopped blowing, even the bees had stopped buzzing. Something was wrong. The old wise owl called a meeting. A heart of forest is dying, he said gravely. The water has stopped because the roots of the forest was drying. If we don't act, our jungle will be faded. The animals panicked. What can we do now? Where can we find help? Pico flapped his wings, spoke up. I will find the magical tree, the animal gasped. You mean the tree from the legend? But no one has ever seen it. The forest is too dangerous for that. But Pico stood firm. There's a 7 more small chance in real life. I must try. With a bag of seeds, a feather from Owl, and a goodbye hug from Tuffy, Pico set off. He flew the riverbank past through thick veins and over dark valleys. He crossed the Stone Valley hollow where the winds whispered riddles. He flew above the mysterious marshes where shadows move without sound. And finally, after days of travel, he saw it. A soft silver lit the trees, and the center was quite glad to stood tall, glow with trees, leaves of golden and silver. It shimmered like dream, with tiny and floating around it fireflies. Pico's heart beat fast. He flew down and blew before the tree. I am Pico. I am from my forest. Oh, our river has stopped. Our land is dried. Please help us. The tree's trunk slowly opened, and a voice echoed gently. Those who has not asked for themselves shall be hurt. Speak your wish. Pico stood a deep breath. I don't ask for powers, treasures, or flights. I only ask for forest that lives, that my friends safe, and that fires glows again. There was a silence, then whoosh. A soft breeze perked up. Golden leaves floated down and wrapped Pico's wings. You have spoken with a true heart, the tree whispered. You shall carry the light of life back your forest. With that, glowing leaf settled on Pico's head. Everything around him shone with the magic. Pico flew back faster than he ever had. As he was nearby his jungle, the skies grew blue again. The dry river shimmered and flowed. Flowers bloomed. The trees stood still and fresh. The animals ran out with cheering. He is back. Look at the river. The forest is alive again. Pico landed beside Tuffy. You did it, said the tortoise, amazed. No, said Pico with a smile. We did it because we never stopped believing. From that day on, Pico was not the jungle storyteller, but he was known for Pico the Brave, the parrot who found the magical tree and brought life back to the forest. Magical tree was never seen again, but its story lived forever in the songs of birds and tale of the trees. The moral of the story is, kids, when you act with a true heart and think of others before yourself, everything is possible. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. The Chacal's Lie. In a colorful jungle where the tree reached the sky and laughter echoed through the leaves, lived a group of friendly animals who believed in helping one another. The jungle was peaceful, filled with chattering monkeys, singing birds, playful deer, and a wise old turtle. Among them, there lived a jackal named Jiggy. Jiggy was sharp, fast, and clever, but he had a habit of that no one liked it. He lied a lot. He would say things that weren't true just to get what he wanted. He lied about hiding food and lied about his danger. He lied to make himself look important. One day, Jiggy ran to the middle of the forest, panting and shouting, Everyone run! A tiger is coming! The birds flew away. The rabbit dashed into their holes. The deer leaped behind the bushes. But no tiger came. The animals peeped out and asked, Where's the tiger? Jiggy grinned and said, Oh, maybe he turned back. The animals were annoyed. That wasn't funny, Jiggy. But Jiggy laughed and walked away, thinking he was very clever. After a few days, Jiggy told a squirrel, There is a fruit festival by a waterfall. Lot of mangoes and bananas. The squirrel with her friends hurried over hungry and excitement. But when they got there, they say nothing. No fruits, no festival. There was another one of Jiggy's tricks. The squirrel returned angry. This was mean. We are hungry and hopeful. But Jiggy shrugged. Just a joke. Slowly the animals stopped trusting him. They whispered to each other, Be careful what you believe if Jiggy says it. Then the day came up with big jungle gathering. All the animals were meeting near the great banyan tree to plan an annual forest sharing day, where everyone brought something to share, fruit, story, song or skill. Jiggy arrived early, hoping to change something important. I will guard the food table, he proudly said. The wise old replied, That's a big responsibility. Can we trust you? Jiggy puffed out of his chest. Of course, I am very responsible. The owl hesitated, but give him a chance. All right, but I'll remember. This is for everyone. Soon animals began placing their goodies on a large banana leaf table. Sweet berries, juicy mangoes, crunchy nuts, and golden honey. Jiggy licked his lips. No, no one will notice
If I taste a little. He lipped one berry, then a mango, then another, then another. By the time animals returned with flowers and decorations, half of the food was gone. Everyone gasped. What happened to the food? Where are the mangoes? The nuts are missing. Jiggy wiped his mouth and said quickly, It wasn't me. I saw a monkey sneaking and eating everything. The monkey cried, That's a lie.
We are decorating trees. The owl looked closely at Jiggy. There was honey poised in his lips and a mango seed under his tail. Jiggy, the owl said gently, "Do you want to try again?" Jiggy looked around. No one believed him. The animals looked sad and disappointed. He lowered his head. "I am sorry," he mumbled. "I ate the food and I lied." The jungle went quiet. The turtle said, "It takes courage to admit mistake, but trust once broken, it's hard to fix. You can earn our trust again, Jiggy, but the only through efforts and trust." From that day, Jiggy worked hard to change. He helped new gatherings, foods, animals stayed even honesty. He apologized to each animal and lied. At first, animals were unsure, but surely they saw a difference. He warned the rabbit about the real snake. He shared bananas with fibbing. He also even admitted when he forgot his course. One evening, the squirrel smiled and said at him, "You are not the same Jiggy anymore." The owl said, wiser than ever in the jungle, "When lies falls, the truth shine." The moral of the story is, kids, telling the truth builds trust. Lies may seem easy, but honesty brings lasting respect and true friendship. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.